There is a wolf sleeping at your feet right now. You've renamed it. You call it a good boy. You let it into your bed, feed it from your hand, and trust it near your children. But strip away the name and the collar, and what's lying on your floor is a predator with a bite that can snap bone. Descended from an animal our ancestors were terrified of. And here's the part nobody tells you. This wolf didn't just survive alongside us, it conquered us. It pulled off the single greatest takeover in the history of life on Earth. And it did it without teeth, without a fight, using a weapon so subtle that 10,000 years later, you still don't know it was used on you. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a wild predator turned an entire species into its servants, why it looks at you the way it does, and the unsettling price it paid to win. Let's get into the truth. This isn't a story about a pet. It's the story of a heist, how a wolf walked into the human world and never left. We'll look at the predator it still is, the impossible trick it used to take over the planet, the way it reads your mind better than your closest friend, and the question underneath all of it. When your dog looks at you with love, is that real? Or is it the most successful manipulation in natural history? Stay with me. Let's start with what your dog actually is. Not what it acts like, what it is. Your dog is a wolf, not related to a wolf, not descended from one in some distant, watered-down way. Scientifically, the dog is a subspecies of the grey wolf, genetically almost identical to the animals still howling in the wild. The Chihuahua shivering in a sweater and the wolf tearing down an elk share nearly the same code. Everything that makes a wolf a killer is still written inside your dog. We just taught it to keep the book closed. Look at the equipment. Those teeth aren't for kibble. They're the carnassial blades of a pack hunter, built to shear meat and crack bone. Some large dogs bite down with several hundred pounds of force, more than enough to break a human arm. The nose can track a scent days old across miles. The ears catch sounds you'll never hear. This is a fully loaded predator that happens to sleep on a memory foam bed. And the instincts didn't leave either. Watch your dog and you'll see the wolf leaking through. It circles before lying down, flattening imaginary grass. It buries food it doesn't need, caching for a famine that will never come. It shreds a squeaky toy and freezes when the squeak dies, because the squeak is the sound of prey giving up. A herding dog nips at children's heels because it's moving a flock that exists only in its blood. None of this was taught. It's 40,000 years old, and it's asleep on your couch. So if the dog is still, underneath everything, a wolf, then the real mystery isn't what it is. It's how it got here. How did one of the most feared predators on Earth end up as the animal we trust most? The answer is the greatest con in the history of nature. Here's the version of history you were probably taught. Brave cavemen captured wolf cubs, raised them, tamed them, and slowly built the dog. It's almost certainly wrong. The truth is stranger, and it's not a story about us taming them. It's a story about them choosing us. Tens of thousands of years ago, long before farming, human camps threw off something valuable: waste. Bones, scraps, the leftovers of the hunt. Most wolves were far too afraid to come near the fire, but a few, the boldest, the friendliest, the ones with just slightly less fear, crept to the edge of the light to feed. And those wolves ate better. They survived better. They had more pups, and their pups inherited that one magic trait: the ability to be near humans without panic. Generation after generation, the friendliest wolves outbred the fearful ones. Evolution wasn't selecting for the strongest or the fiercest. It was selecting for the tamest. And that single choice rewired the animal completely. Because tameness does something bizarre to a body. When scientists in Russia spent decades breeding foxes for friendliness alone, nothing else, something no one predicted happened. the tame foxes started to change physically. Their ears went floppy, their tails curled, their coats broke into patches, their skulls shortened, their faces softened, and they kept the wide eyes and playfulness of cubs into adulthood. Select for a gentle mind, and you accidentally sculpt a body that looks forever young. Biologists call it the domestication effect, and it's why your dog, unlike a wolf, still looks and acts like a perpetual puppy. Think about what actually happened here. A wolf figured out, not by planning, but by pure evolutionary accident, that the winning strategy wasn't to fight humans or flee humans. It was to disarm them, to become smaller, softer, cuter, and friendlier until we couldn't help but take it in. And it worked so well that today there are around 1 billion dogs on Earth, on every continent, in nearly every home, while the wolf it came from clings to the wild edges, hunted and rare. The wolf that learned to love us inherited the planet, but looking cute only opens the door. To truly take over, the dog needed to get inside our heads, and it developed abilities that, frankly, shouldn't be possible. Point at something across the room and your dog looks where you're pointing. That feels ordinary until you learn that chimpanzees, our closest relatives, mostly can't do this. Even wolves raised by humans struggle with it. Your dog reads a subtle human gesture instantly, intuitively, from puppyhood. It has evolved to speak a language we didn't even know we were speaking. The silent language of where we look, how we stand, what our faces are doing. And then there's the trick that should send a chill down your spine. Look into your dog's eyes when it wants something, and it raises its inner eyebrows. That irresistible, slightly sad, puppy dog expression. Scientists discovered that dogs evolved a specific muscle to make that face. Wolves don't have it. In the few tens of thousands of years since domestication, dogs grew a brand new facial muscle for one purpose: to move that exact part of a human heart that responds to a baby's face. Your dog didn't learn puppy eyes. It was built to aim them at you. And that's before we get to what it can smell. A dog's nose has around 300 million scent receptors. Yours has about 6 million. Its sense of smell is tens of thousands of times sharper than anything you can imagine. Sharp enough that dogs can smell fear, detect a seizure before it happens, and sniff out cancer in a person's breath. When your dog greets you, it isn't just happy. It's reading a full chemical report: where you've been, who you touched, and, genuinely, how you feel. Your dog can smell your emotions. You have never once fooled it. So by now the case looks almost sinister. A predator that made itself cute, learned to read our minds, and evolved a muscle to manipulate our emotions. Which forces the real question of this whole video. When your dog gazes at you with love, is any of it real? Or is it just running the con? Here's where the story turns. Scientists measured what happens in both of you during that gaze. When you and your dog look into each other's eyes, both of your brains release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that floods a mother and her newborn when they stare at each other. The dog's gaze raises your oxytocin. Your attention raises the dog's, which raises the gaze again. You are locked in the exact same chemical love loop as a parent and child, and it runs in both directions. It goes deeper. Brain scans show that when a dog smells its owner, the reward center of its brain lights up. And for many dogs, praise from you triggers as much reward as food does, sometimes more. Given a choice between a treat and their person, a striking number of dogs choose the person. This is not an animal tolerating you for meals. This is an animal whose brain has been rewired to treat your approval as one of its deepest needs. So which is it, manipulation or love? Here's the answer, and it's the heart of the whole thing. It's both, and they're the same thing. The dog's ancestors survived by bonding to us, so evolution made the bond genuinely felt. The manipulation and the love aren't opposites. The love is how the manipulation works. Your dog isn't faking affection to exploit you. Over 40,000 years, it became an animal that actually loves you, because loving you is exactly what let it win. The con and the devotion are the same act, but every takeover has a cost, and the dog paid a price for the throne it won, a price we forced on it. When the dog handed us control of its bond, it also handed us control of its body, and we did things to it no wolf would ever survive. We bred dogs for flat, cute faces until some can barely breathe, spending their whole lives struggling for air because we decided a squashed face looked adorable. We bred them into shapes that ruin their hips, their spines, their hearts. The wolf was perfectly built by 2 million years of the wild. The pug was built by us, in a century, for looks. That's the shadow side of this love story. The same trust that let the dog into our homes also left it completely at our mercy. A wolf answers only to nature. A dog answers to us, and we have not always been kind landlords of the animal that gave us everything. Which brings us back to where we started. Remember what's asleep at your feet. A wolf, one that traded its wildness, its freedom, and control of its own body for a single bet, that we would be worth loving. It reshaped itself, grew new muscles, rewired its own brain, all to be close to us. It didn't conquer the world with claws, it conquered it with trust. So here's the truth, stranger than either story you've heard. Your dog is not a simple, loyal pet, and it is not a cynical little manipulator. It is a wolf that fell in love with humanity and bet its entire existence on us loving it back. The devotion is real, the manipulation is real, and the debt runs toward us. So, did your dog manipulate its way into your heart? Yes, completely. It evolved a muscle, hijacked your bonding hormones, and turned an entire species into its family. It did it by becoming something that genuinely loves you back. And if a wolf nature unsettles you, wait until you meet the animal watching you from the wire above your street, the one that remembers your face, plans for the future, and can hold a grudge for years. That's next, because the animals closest to us are always the ones hiding the most.